What up, family? Peace and blessings. KG Positive. How's your glass looking? I hope it's looking half full. Today, y'all, we're going to talk about complicated relationships and maintaining that positive demeanor through these complicated relationships. Complicated, I mean baby mamas, baby daddies. That is one of the most complicated relationships and toughest things to navigate. The toughest part about it is navigating and maintaining that relationship when both or one of the individuals have moved on. I used to think in my mind, if both individuals have moved on, there shouldn't be any more drama. Let's keep it about the kids. Let's make sure we're doing what's best for the children, staying focused there. But I have, unfortunately, in my personal life, and seen with other people, that does not always apply. Just because you're with someone new and they're with someone new does not mean that, they're going to act, the way that you would think someone would act once you're kind of over someone. And the sad part about it is who really ends up getting damaged usually are the children. Because, you're talking bad about your significant other, be it you're the woman talking bad about the father or the man talking bad about the mother. Either way, when that child hears you, you're talking about that child's parent. And that can affect them. That can affect their relationship with that other parent. That can affect the relationship they have with you. And I think we need to be mindful of that. Because, ultimately the goal is for the children. Let's stay focused on what we're here for. We're here for the kids. And that's what we need to be focused on. Not the relationship that didn't work, not the reasons that the relationship didn't work. I mean, sometimes the relationship might didn't work because it was never a relationship in the first place. And then you tried to make something, work out of you just having, a physical attraction with someone, but that doesn't mean that you really vibed or jive the best way when it comes to, building a relationship. And then even more difficult whenever you don't have a relationship like that and then a child is put into the mix, then it's even more difficult because you find yourself in arguments about things that may have been small, but they get bigger just because you and that person, y'all are not vibing anymore, or because they've moved on and they're with somebody else. And again, ultimately, who suffers? The children. And that's the saddest part. You just don't want to put that type of venom in your children. You really want to help them. Going back to something I said in another video, put that positivity into your child. It does not matter what that other parent is or is not doing. When they're with you, you do your part. You don't need to talk about them. You don't need to bring them up. This all came because recently, one of my cousins, again, people, they chime in, they holler at me and everything. And I definitely appreciate it whenever I have these conversations. And I hope that I help them, from having these conversations. And then whenever I bring it to y'all, I hope it helps y'all, or you can share it with someone that will help them, because that's what it's all about. But anyway, my cousin hit me up. He see his baby mama and they're in a parking lot. They just happen to both be in that parking lot at the same time. They get into a fender bender. His car is now totaled. And he's just like, man, cuz I'm so mad. I can't believe she did this. He was like, man, I swear she did it on purpose. And it ain't even about the car. He done got him a new car and all that. It's just the principle that when you see someone, how can you see someone that at one point in time you either really cared about or perhaps you loved, but that you've laid down and given your body up, and it depends on, it doesn't matter whether you're the male or the female. You've laid down with that person to the point that whenever I see you in a parking lot with my child in the car, I run my car into your car. Like, I don't understand why that type of anger would just conjure up and bubble over just from the sight of me. Now, my cousin's moved on. He's married, and he even said, man, I think it got something to do with that. But, he been married going on 3 years. He like, man, eventually you think, everything be cool. Should be over it. Not sure why, But at the end of the day, that child was in the car. That was endangerment to the child. Like, I don't know what's going to happen from the results of the accident and everything, because it's still very early on in the process. But I'm sure that his baby mama does not want to go through what it could potentially lead to. It could lead to child endangerment. Like, our emotions make us make so many poor decisions if we make them from an emotional kind of mindset. You must be logical and think about, fully the consequences of all of your actions. So I was just trying to calm my cousin down, because I definitely understood where he's coming from. I understood that anger. And it made me come on here and just say, man, y'all, we got to do better. If you are a bad father, do better. If you are a bad mother, do better. Do better for these children. Because one day, y'all, these kids going to be taking care of us. So you got to do what you're supposed to do. And if you haven't taught them how to be good people, good citizens, and things like that, how do you expect them to take care of you in a way? How do you expect them to have compassion from you when you're not showing them compassion? Because that's how children learn. They learn from what they see. Half of the stuff that they hear, they don't even do. It's what they see. It's the routines and the practices of what they see. So all of y'all in these complicated relationships, me included, do what you got to do to make sure your kids are good. Do what you got to do to try and maintain a healthy, positive relationship with the mother of your kids or the father of your kids. And if you see that, you can't get to that, that's fine. The next thing you should do, in my opinion, is not talk bad about them or why it can't get together. Just focus on your part and what you're doing to keep it together. And I hope this blessed y'all. How's your glass looking?